Hey everybody, what's happening? I am gonna set this all up. Going to share this on a couple other pages. Let me invite Peter on. Hey Rebecca, hey Monica, hey everybody. All right, so let me set this up. I'm just going to share this on a couple of the pages if you guys are watching. Hello Mukesh, hello Rebecca. Share this on your page or your school page or wherever you would like. I'm going to share it on my other six-figure page. And we will get Peter Deadman on here in just a couple minutes. How exciting, huh? I met him earlier this year. He's so great. I'm really excited to introduce him to everybody. I love the thumbs up. All right, let me just share this and I'll get right back to you. Let's see. All right, let me share this one more time. Can you guys hear me okay too? Because I have a fan pointing at me because it's hot. So let me know if you can hear that in my microphone. What's up, everybody? Hi. I'm just going to share this. And if you're just joining, hello. We have Stuart. We have Bardwaj. I think that's how you say your name. Let's see. Sound is good. Okay. Thanks, Rebecca. Good. Because I need this fan on. It's hot. The whole world is heating up. Let's see. Hi, Stuart. Privacy setting. Oh, that's weird. Can't share this. Not sure why. Share on a page. Public. Post. I'll have to share it afterwards. All right, so we are getting set up here. Oh, my mom is on. Hi, Mom. Hi, Raul. What's up? Hi, everybody. Let me know in the comments where you are watching from. We have acupuncturists all over the world. It's really exciting. I'm just doing a little stuff on my computer here. Oh, you're here. What's up, Peter? Let me invite you on the screen. Let's see. Peter, do you have a... Wait, let me find you on here. Do you have a button on your side, Peter, that says join the screen? You should have one. It says that you can, but when I press it, nothing's happening. Figure this out here. Let's see. Oh, we got New York. Oh, what's up, Robert Chu? I'm still trying to get you on the screen, Robert. I mean, Peter. Not Robert. Let's see. Hey, Peter. Did you click on the video like you're watching it like it's in your big screen? I'm still looking for you on my screen here. Can't seem to find you. I see you're here, but let's see. Let's see. I'm looking in another spot here. Can't add you there. We will figure this out. Peter, you're watching this on your phone, right? I know we talked about that. Let me know in the comments if you see any button where you can press join the screen, because there should be something on your screen that lets you do that. You have the little camera button, so you should be allowed to. Let me know in the comments if you can find it or see anything that I'm talking about, because I'm looking, but I don't see anything on my side. Oh, I can see you, yes, on the phone. Oh, there you go. Okay, they will bring you on the screen now. Great. Okay, let me just share this on my other page. Here. Can't share that. All right. Oh, hello, Caroline. What's up? Stuart. Yes, we got it, Stuart. He's being added. Thank you. Okay.
Got it.
Hello. We did it. All this technology. All right. I've just shared it on one page. I couldn't figure out how to share this video on my other page for some reason. It's not working. Let me try once more time. We have a lot of people that want to see our chat together. How are you doing today?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Good.
You can hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
we're good.
Cool. Let me just see if I can share this one more time. And then, well, I'll just put, and then I'll come right back to you. How's the weather over there?
Medium. warm, damp, rain tomorrow. I'm going to a festival tomorrow.
In the rain?
It's gonna rain. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's an typical English experience.
I'm in France, in southern France. It is just mega hot. It is just hot. I have a fan. It's just hot. But hey,
Right.
Better than snow, right? All right. Technology is good. Everything looks like it's going. All right. Thank you so much for chatting today. It's so good to see you again. We haven't seen each other since Rottenburg. Did I say that right?
Rottenburg.
So let's start. I always love learning about people's acupuncture story and what brought them to acupuncture. And I have no idea what brought you to acupuncture. You've been telling me a little bit about your what you've been up to in life, which is so exciting. I love all your entrepreneurial things that you're up to, a person after my own heart. So what did bring you to acupuncture? And I don't think you can see comments on your side. So if people ask questions, can you see the comments on the bottom of your screen or no?
No.
Okay, yeah. I'll let you know if anybody does.
So I'm going to give you a slightly long version.
Speak as long as you want.
It starts with, it's got a lot to do with when I was born and what was going on when I was a young teenager. So it was coincided with the Beat generation, with a fascination in culture or in the counterculture with the mystic East. Some of the Beats, particularly Gary Snyder, were very much into Zen Buddhism, and it was just Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. Yoga was hip. So it was kind of strong influence on what was then the budding counterculture. So that kind of sowed the seeds. Then I was a bright kid. I was fast-tracked through school to, especially to get a place in Oxford or Cambridge University. That was going to be kudos for the school and the number of people they could get in. So I played that game, and I got into Oxford University to study politics, philosophy, and economics at Balliol College. And if you know the British scene, that particular degree is the basis of lots of people in government, lots of people in the high echelons of the establishment, the press, and so on. So I got the place, and then this big thing inside me rebelled. So I decided that's just not me, I can't do it. So I got a place at what was supposedly a more hip university. But by the time I went, it was 1966, I started dropping acid. I started smoking a lot of weed. I started listening to a lot of music.
Rock and roll or something?
Not rock and roll, more, well, post rock and roll.
Yeah.
A lot of Dylan, a lot of American West Coast music. And sitting in stuffy university rooms studying 16th century English poetry just didn't work for me. I did no work. I got thrown out.
You did?
So I got thrown out, yeah. I was actually told I was the worst student ever to attend the university, which was for a while.
What an honorary title. That's like getting knighted.
Yeah. So then I went traveling. I did loads of hitching around Europe, North Africa, living on beaches, frolicking with other hippies, with flowers in our hair and such like, still taking quite large quantities of drugs. But underneath it all, because I was brought up by a Jewish mother and a sort of Protestant background father, they were both communists as well. There was this, I imbibed this idea that you have to do something important with your life. You have to contribute to society. But with all this kind of cultural influence I had received, all the things that people did, most people did, simply didn't appeal to me. So I was constantly going through things, realizing what I didn't want to do, and waiting for some illumination about what I did want to do. And that finally came after I got sick. I ended up in a tiny Moroccan village with a terrible case of hepatitis. At one point, I really thought I was going to die there.
Wow.
And whilst I was sick, lying on what sometimes seemed my deathbed, came across a book. Somebody gave me a book, which was called Zen Macrobiotics, and it was by a Japanese guy called George Osawa, and it was about how diet can change your life and change your health, natural food, whole grain, loads of vegetables, all that kind of thing. And it kind of set off a light bulb in me. I knew I had to do something to put myself back together again after all this degenerate but very enjoyable living. So I went back to the UK and I started getting deeply into diet, and then I decided to open a restaurant. I met a friend, so we opened a macrobiotic restaurant at the university I'd been kicked out of.
I love that.
We knew nothing about cooking, absolutely nothing. We knew nothing about business.
No need.
Nothing at all. We just did it.
That's how you learn, right?
First day we opened, 300 people turned up.
Oh my gosh.
So,
300 people?
students, because it was cheap, it was hip. And people were already a little bit interested in alternative diet things.
Wow.
So we churned out tons over the next year or two. We churned out there and at numerous festivals that we did. We turned out tons of brown rice and vegetables and stuff.
Wow.
And that kind of flowed pretty seamlessly into opening a shop, natural food business called Infinity Foods, which started absolutely tiny with 2 or 3 customers a day, and grew and grew and grew and grew. It's now a thriving co-op with about 150 members, distributing food all over Britain.
Wow.
But as I carried on doing that, I mean, that was my first real, complete and utter passion. You know, I worked 20 hours a day and I loved it. Finally, I was doing something that I really believed in.
Yeah.
And it gave me an opportunity to learn everything. I learned plumbing and electrical wiring and building shells and how to write leaflets and how to print leaflets, how to run a business and all kinds of things. But eventually I got bored with that. But the macrobiotic movement, because it originated in Japan and was connected to traditional Japanese practices like shiatsu, it kind of incorporated a bit of what you might call Eastern medicine.
Interesting.
Far Eastern medicine.
I didn't know that.
So
that's where the macrobiotic stuff. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, you know, we were learning a little bit of, this is an acupuncture point, and here's the bladder meridian and stuff like that. And I reached a point of crisis. I'm a big fan of crises in life. I had a crisis. I finally reached the point I didn't want to carry on what I was doing, just running a food business. But I didn't yet know what I wanted to do. And I kind of struggled with that. It sort of fermented inside me, built up pressure. Not really, it wasn't enjoyable. And then one day, bang, another light bulb went off in my head. I'm going to be an acupuncturist.
I love it.
So that's the long answer.
I love it.
To how I started to be an acupuncturist.
And it's also so fascinating because you're such an entrepreneur, you know, and you followed your passions and you just went for it and you learned along the way. And also, you know, you're not afraid of switching it up, you know, and being okay with not wanting to do something anymore or wanting to change how you're doing it. You know, I love that. Obviously, that's what I'm up to too, but so we have the same mindset.
Just one point about the entrepreneur. I just want to go back a bit.
Yeah.
We ran it as a very, very idealistic business.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. We did everything we could to lower the cost of natural and organic foods, made them available to the widest community. Everybody who worked there got paid the same. And when I left, soon after, the 3 of us who owned it, we gave it away to the co-op. So it was entrepreneurial, but it wasn't. It was community entrepreneur.
Yeah, but that's still, I mean, I love it. You know, I love the passion behind it, and just I love it. I love all of it. And again, like it's very pioneering since there was not very much like that at that time, right?
Yeah, that's why we started with 2 customers a day. So.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So then you studied acupuncture.
Yeah.
And then, as you were, I mean, again, pioneering the acupuncture world, you know, because I know, I mean, in the United States, it started to come to the States in the 70s. Was it the same in the UK, or was it there earlier? Or?
Yeah. Well, it was earlier. I mean, we just held recently a memorial service for Giovanni Macioccia.
Yeah.
So that may, because I presented the story of his life, had to research a bit. So I think he started studying in 71, 72. That was pretty much the beginning. I went to school in 75, qualified in 78, but I must emphasize, we knew pretty much nothing. I mean, the state of education was so appalling. You know, there were 3 books in English when I first started
Wow.
studying, and they were rubbish.
Wow.
But 1978 coincided with the sudden opening up, the first opening up of China.
Oh.
So one or two people were going over to China studying. Giovanni was one of them. Ted Captrot was one. Coming back, and suddenly this whole world of Chinese medicine opened. And then Giovanni organised a trip for Western acupuncturists to go and study in China. First time ever that, well, people have been going to learn acupuncture, but first time ever that people who knew some acupuncture went. And that was a seminal event for me. I was only there 3.5 months, but I absorbed like a sponge. I mean, I'd been practicing for a couple of years, so I knew what I didn't know, which was pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I was hungry.
Yeah.
Really, really hungry.
Yeah.
That's the difference maybe between what it was like then and what it's like now. If you study Chinese medicine now, you're overwhelmed with information. You're kind of beating it off. There's just too much.
Yeah.
We were the opposite.
Yeah.
There was nothing. We were desperate. We were really, really hungry. And that's a great state to be in if you really want to learn.
Yeah.
So that launched a really busy practice for me. Within a few weeks of coming back, I was treating 80 or 90 patients a week in multi-bed, because that's how I learned to practice in China, busy clinic. And Giovanni, myself, and 2 other people, including Julian Scott, the British acupuncturist who really pioneered in the West the treatment of children by acupuncture. We ran postgraduate courses for several years.
Wow.
And, going back a bit, after I qualified in 78, I didn't have many patients. And I was so used from my days in the food business, being busy and starting things all the time, I felt at a loose end, so I started a journal, the Journal of Chinese Medicine. And that was partly because there was nothing available.
Wow.
There was no material.
Who taught you in school? Like, was it Chinese teachers or?
No.
Who was it?
In the first 2 years, it was Brits who had, I would say, only the most tenuous understanding. Yeah. In my final year, it was Giovanni.
Wow.
And that made an enormous difference.
Yeah.
I mean, because he studied, there was nothing much in English, but he studied French texts.
Okay.
And then very quickly went to China. So he had stuff to teach.
Wow.
And the early issues of the journal were like primer textbooks. We had articles on what is wind and just really basic stuff because there was nothing available.
Do you have that published now in the journal online?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Goes back. Pretty much everything we ever published is online. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just hundreds of little plug, hundreds, thousands of articles.
Plug away.
Research, plug away. 40. It's the journal's 40th anniversary.
Wow! Oh my gosh,
so
that's amazing.
There's a vast backlog of material.
Wow.
Really good quality material online.
Yeah, I mean, and that's so fascinating too, to learn that it's all the way back from when you were first learning acupuncture, learning from Giovanni, learning from China. I mean, really just starting to understand and translate this medicine over. Like, that's fascinating.
Yep. It's history, isn't it?
Yeah.
To me, it's my life. To you, it's history.
Yeah.
Just the other day to me, it's just yesterday.
But how interesting, or how can you even sum it up, what you've seen happen with Chinese medicine over the last 40 years?
You're asking me to sum it up?
Yeah, like, is it mind-blowing what you've seen change and how it's spread and what's happening now from when you just started where there was nothing,
Well, it's not actually, it's very similar to what happened to natural and organic foods.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I can't remember who said it. Somebody said, nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been quite lucky, I don't know why, that I've what's they call it? An early adopter. I've kind of seen which way the wind is blowing very early on. and got involved. So my Chinese medicine career, I was very lucky. I mean, I forged a really interesting career in a way that's much harder if you came along 10 years later.
Yeah.
It's a much more crowded field.
Yeah.
But I was lucky to be there at the beginning. And yeah, it's exploded phenomenally. And for myself, I mean, I stopped practicing 10 years ago. And I was aware that one thing I was aware of is that the level of knowledge of Chinese medicine had grown so much that I was kind of, because I was very busy with them, so many different things. I started to be behind the loop, particularly with herbal medicine. You know, I was, again, when in the early days, maybe you want to take a speciality, start getting into gynecology or something, it's just a couple of textbooks. And then 10 or 20 years later, there's just so much that you need to know. And I spent several years sort of burning on all fronts. So I was at a busy practice. I was publishing the journal. I was writing a textbook, Manual of Acupuncture. I was teaching all over the world.
Wow.
And I had a family. And so after the manual was published, for a number of reasons, including the one I've mentioned, I'd been practicing for 30 years. I decided it was time to stop practicing. Also, I joined a band. That was the kind of bit of unfinished business for me. And if anybody's been in a band, you know, it's kind of really late night rehearsals and long nights on the road coming back from gigs. So it was pretty hard to hold a practice together.
Yeah.
And I was tired.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd had enough of practicing.
Yeah. And please do share with us what you played in the band.
I played the violin in a klezmer band.
Amazing.
You know klezmer?
No.
Okay.
But
so klezmer,
I saw it online because I saw it on your website, right? There's a little...
Okay. So klezmer was the music of European Jews. And I'm Jewish, but klezmer can be quite precious. Our band was the opposite end. We were kind of, nobody else in the band was Jewish. Nobody gave really a toss about precious traditions. We just played this music that went off like a rocket and got people throwing themselves around all over the place. And that's what we were. We're a dance band.
I love it.
A wild vodka-fueled dance band. So,
I love it. So fun. So then on top of all of that you were doing, you also knew how to play an instrument.
Yeah, well, I played as a kid.
Awesome.
And I'd stopped, and I think like what I realized, and it's a common experience for all of us. We do things, maybe we love them, and then life gets in the way and we drop them. We've got in the back of our mind the idea, I'll do that again someday.
Yeah.
You know, it's not finished.
Yeah.
But then you get in life, you get to a certain age and you realize, well, you know, one day it's got to be now or it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was what it was really.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So when all this is happening, what was the moment where you decided that you're going to write this manual of all these acupuncture points? Because that is such a huge undertaking. And, you know, I can't even wrap my brain around how you even did that. So please share.
Okay. Well, first of all, with projects like that,
Yeah.
same as having a baby, you don't really know, you know, you just start it. You don't really know, how it's going to take years to finish and, you know, be quite such a big thing. So I was approached by a publisher, Churchill Livingston, did I want to write a book on the points? And my first reaction was, hell no, there's loads of points books out there. What could be different?
And was there a lot of points books? Because I only have grown up knowing yours. You know,
Well, no, there was not. there were lots of points work. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
And then actually I had a conversation with my friend Julian Scott, and he said, well, the reason there's lots of points books already is because there's the demand for points books. And I thought, oh, that's right. So I started to think about it, and I've always loved, I have a passion for gathering information and then finding a way to share it in a clear way. Yeah? So that started to germinate in my mind, to gather information from, so sorry, I'm going to sort of ramble around a bit, but, the Chinese medicine profession and acupuncture is pretty new in the West. And I and my fellow authors, mainly myself and Mazen Al-Kawaji, we thought you can't build a strong house on a weak foundation. If you want to develop acupuncture, in this case acupuncture in the West, what people were doing it felt like I was kind of making it up on the hoof. Chinese, oh yeah, traditional acupuncture is this, but it wasn't based on anything. It wasn't based on any solid foundation. So what we really wanted to do was to delve into the tradition as much as possible, draw it together and present it in a way that would provide a foundation and be useful to the profession. Not saying that this was the only truth about acupuncture, this is the only way to practice acupuncture, but really this was the Chinese medicine historical tradition covering pretty much 2,000 years from the Neijing onwards, was the greatest body of written, scholarly, practical, clinical information we had about Chinese medicine. So that was the motive. Mazen already read and spoke very good Chinese. He taught himself classical Chinese. So we sat for hundreds and hundreds of hours translating Chinese stuff, sort of discussing it, and then eventually kind of presenting it, kind of summarizing it and presenting it in a way that we felt was respectful of the tradition, not really adding our own stuff too much. And then separately from that, I worked with a colleague, a friend, Kevin Baker, who was, one of these people has not just one brain, but two brains. So he was the first person in Britain to belong to the Royal College of Surgeons and the Royal College of Physicians, which meant he was an A&E surgeon and a GP, came first or second in anatomy in his exams in the United Kingdom, and then he took a full-time acupuncture course.
Wow.
So, yeah, I know. And then he did psychotherapy course. So he and I sat for about 3 years, again, same process, delving into the point locations and the anatomy, and trying to come up again with our best understanding based on all the sources we could access of where the points were.
Wow.
So that's the story of the book, and it just went on for years and years.
How many years?
And well, it was about 8 years, and it was tough. I mean, I had two things preying on my mind. The first was my grandfather, a great scholar. The last work he embarked on was an encyclopedia of law in 5 languages, and he died before it was finished. He just left boxes and boxes of notes. So this would kind of come into my mind. Oh my God, I'm going to die before this book is finished. That's one thing. And the second thing was that we heard that somebody else was writing a massive points book. Somebody in the States. Turned out true.
Uh-oh. My screen on your side went black. Oh, you're back. I lost you for a second.
Okay.
You're back.
I was saying say we had somebody in the States was writing a massive point book.
Yep.
So the last year of the book, I pretty much stopped practicing for that year. I devoted myself first thing in the morning to last thing at night, working on this book. And then I'd wake up in the middle of the night and think, this bastard in America, he's working on the book now, because of the time difference. So I get up.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
It was like I was beaten by the lash. Anyway, it got done. So there you go.
But there's no points book from an American, is there?
No, I don't know where we got that story from.
Maybe it's like motivation.
Maybe Marzin told me to give me a kick. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
but that's the obvious thing in life. Start, put one foot in front of the other, and time plus time equals result.
It's incredible.
Just keep going. Yeah. I
mean, that is just such a ginormous book. So ginormous. 8 years. It's truly, truly amazing. Is your book now translated all over the world to other cultures?
Yeah, it's in about 7 or 8 languages.
Wow. That's incredible.
But not Chinese. We'd love it to be in Chinese.
Yeah. Hey, maybe. Wow. Okay. So that's amazing. So that is how that book got written. I mean, when you and I met, I honestly had no idea how long ago that book was written. I didn't even know you were alive. I really didn't. And it never really crossed my mind. It was like, oh, this is a points book written by someone called Peter Deadman. And then we met and I was like, whoa, this is you. You're amazing.
Alyssa, I remember the exact moment I met you. Yeah. Because I was saying to somebody, I said, come on, let's do it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I totally.
Because I was supposed to be doing an interview and they'd been faffing around ages, and he was down there, you go like, what?
Because I was talking to her and you're just like, come on, let's do it. And you guys were off and I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah. So I sounded very fussy, but it was justified at that moment.
It was fine. We made up later. All right. Well, that story is incredible. All your stories are incredible so far. There's been a lot of comments. People are just like amazing, and they're honored to listen, and they love you even more now with the music that you're playing. Someone told me to watch Fiddler on the Roof. Is that the type of music that you play?
Yeah, but more rock and roll,
Yep.
A bit more rock and roll.
Yeah. People are loving your stories. So.
Okay.
Oh, we have one question for later. We'll do questions later. Let's keep talking.
You have to say that again. I lost you for a moment.
There was a question, but we'll do some questions later. So, okay. So that was how that book got written. And then 10 years ago, you stopped practicing. And I love now that you've had this passion for the Yangshen. And you've written a new book on the Yangshen, which I love. I said it's like, what did I say? It's Chinese medicine hacks almost, because everybody's all about the hacking things these days. Do you know that term? Is that a US term or?
No, it's a hip term and I'm not really sure what it means.
It means
no computer hacking. But.
It's like shortcutting things. It's like making things, yeah, I guess, I don't know, anybody in the comments, how do you describe hacking stuff? Because I feel like your book is Chinese medicine hacking. So it makes it very available to everybody and it shortcuts it. So it's like, hey, this is what you need for this and this and this. I love the food stuff in the book. Love the food stuff because I can't tell you how confused people are with food and their diet these days. There's so many different ways of eating. And then you also, with your food background, you even have the next level up on that and you mix that knowledge. Although, as you're saying, it's kind of similar knowledge too, which I didn't realize. So,
Yeah.
like, if anybody hasn't read it, get his book, read it. The new book is awesome. Oh, biohacking. Yeah, someone says Qigong is the original biohacking. So biohacking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll find
So
the
can
definition. Yeah. Go.
Can I talk about that book a bit?
Oh, please. Yeah, please.
Okay.
I'd love to.
So, so I've explained how, my first entry into the health world was through natural foods. And particularly the idea that food is a tool through which people can take responsibility for their own health. That our health and well-being is not something we're passive experiences of, and whenever it goes wrong, we just put ourselves in the hands of other people to fix. We can take responsibility and we can do stuff in our own life. So that was already inherent in the food shop. And incidentally, we pretty soon after we formally established it as a co-op, we set up a charity called the Brighton Natural Health Centre. Brighton is the city I live in, that was in '81, and we started offering classes in yoga, tai chi, qigong, meditation, cookery. These were very early days.
Awesome.
I mean, now you can't turn a corner without finding a yoga studio, but it wasn't like that
Totally.
then. So that was already an expansion of this idea of tools for health. And I guess I carried that over into my understanding of Chinese medicine. I was very aware that the Neijing, the Yellow Emperor's Classic, lays down the idea that looking after ourselves is the highest form of medicine. Page 1, the sages, why do people now only live to 50 and are already decrepit? And the mysterious ancient golden days, they live to 100 and fit and healthy. What's the answer? They don't live right.
Yep.
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 So I paused because you froze.
Oh.
And then soon after that in the Neijing it says, waiting until a disease has arisen is like starting to dig a well when you're already super thirsty. Starting to forge weapons when the battle has begun. So I would say that prevention has always been the very foundation and heart of Chinese medicine. And then I was very lucky in the 1980s to study with Dr. John Shen, who at the time was living in New York, came over to the UK. He had a very unique slant on the practice of Chinese medicine, and he told us really certainly that with every patient he had, whatever their complaint, the first question he asked himself was why? Why is this person ill? Why is this person ill in this way? So instead of just jumping from observation of the disease and differentiation of symptoms and diagnosis into treatment, there was this key step. What has happened in this person's life that causes them to be ill? And the answer to that is very valuable, because very often what underlies an illness, often what underlies an illness is ongoing. Overwork, emotional disharmony, poor diet, lack of exercise, whatever it is.
Yep.
Really, without addressing that and without dealing with that, you're going to restrict the possibility of helping the person get well.
Yep.
And even when, as is often the case, the cause is in the past and can't be changed, this is information we can give to people that enables them to understand and come to terms with and, in a way, move on from what's caused the illness. So that's really important. So I think you understand the idea that, put simply, lifestyle is a fundamental part of what we offer in the clinical encounter. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that this is something that we, as inheritors of the Chinese medical tradition and the Yangcheng tradition, particularly this wisdom. We are able to access this wisdom about how to live that's been there as part. It's not just in the medicine. It's not just made up. It's not just, doesn't just come from Chinese medicine. It comes from Taoism, from Confucianism, some from Buddhism. It comes from folk medicine, comes from martial arts tradition. All this knowledge and wisdom about this human organism that we inhabit or are. How do you look after it? Where's the workshop manual? So now in a world where everybody's chucking stuff around and fighting, you've got to do this, you've got to exercise till you nearly die, or you've got to go on raw food diets or paleo diets or whatever it is. What is so valuable, sort of cutting through this, is this handed on knowledge and wisdom that's based on principles that we really understand as Chinese medicine practitioners. The middle way, for example. Harmony of yin and yang. Stopping before completion, not taking anything to its extreme. I've just had an invitation to play table tennis. Sorry. Sorry, it just came up as a text.
It's okay.
Another thing that I do. And this basic, you might call it philosophy, really, can make sense of a lot of tangled stuff, and we can't really see. We get so much competing information. We can go back to basic principles and probably figure out what's the right thing to do. So again, my approach to this book was the same really as the approach to the manual. Delve. I spent a couple of years, in addition to everything I'd learned through my food days and my practice days, delve into everything I could find. I don't read Chinese, I had to find secondary sources. I spent glorious days in the fabulous British Library, which has every book ever published in English, freely available. So I just soaked it all up and regurgitated it in my own words, in my own way. And I felt, to be honest, I feel at this stage in my life, I was 70 a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
But then I was 3 years younger. I felt, I sort of beginning to figure things out a bit. I've absorbed, because I've always believed in. Okay, here's just a quick deviation. So, aging. There's a really interesting book called Aging and Blood Stasis, written a few years ago, Chinese herbal medicine book, by this geriatric specialist who pointed out that aging in Chinese medicine has traditionally mainly been understood as increasing deficiency. Jing. Our essence declines, we decline, we lose essence. Finally, when we run out of essence, we die. But it's also very clear that aging is also characterized by stagnation. They become stiff, physically stiff. Their body shows signs of blood stasis, dark marks and patches, purple tongue, and so on. And my observation particularly also is that our thinking becomes stiff. So I can't remember why I started this deviation now, but what I really wanted, what I was really pointing out is if we approach life, so I don't want to sound like I'm giving lessons, everybody knows this, but if we approach life on the basis that we're continual learners, we never fix ourselves, we don't get stuck. We're true scientists, like the Taoists were. The essence of Taoism, Taoist observation that led to or contributed to the extraordinary explosion of Chinese science from whatever 200 BCE to 400 post BCE, which they made so many incredible inventions. It was observed. observe and learn, and don't have too many preconceptions. Because when you have preconception, you stop learning. When you've got a belief,
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of belief it is, it gets in the way of accurate observation. And so if you're a scientist or if you're a Taoist in that sense, you need to be willing to give up fondly held beliefs if new stuff comes along. So that to me, I can't say I've by any means entirely succeeded, but that's a principle I've followed, tried to follow. And if you do that, you do end up getting some wisdom. Some wisdom about life. We all do.
Yeah.
All you need to do is keep learning and live.
Yeah.
Keep living, keep learning.
Yeah.
And you end up wise.
And stay flexible, learning new things. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, I loved your book because even if you think that people know this stuff, you have to hear it over and over. You have to hear it in different ways at different points in your life. It hits you differently, so all knowledge is regurgitated somehow, but it's just from a different source, so I love it. Is your book, are you aiming to have your book towards the general public also?
Well, perhaps a mistake I made when writing the book is I wasn't very clear. It was absolutely for the general public. So maybe it tried to be directed to too many people. So I wanted it to be useful to practitioners. I wanted it to be useful to all health practitioners. And I wanted it to be useful to the general public. So any Chinese medicine content, I explained as though people didn't know it.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said a moment ago, the best truths are the simple ones that we just keep coming back to and keep again and again going, oh yeah,
Yes.
I understand that even more now,
Yeah.
even better,
Yeah.
even deeper. I've been a bit disappointed by the sales of the book, but to tell the truth, after the Manual of Acupuncture, anything was going to be disappointing.
Right. Yeah.
And I have thought I should have called it, The 100 Secrets of Health and Happiness, or some really buzzy title, and made it much more accessible. I might got half a mind to do that kind of version.
Yeah.
Not because I want to make a lot of money, but I do want to spread the word.
Yeah.
Spread the wisdom, spread the knowledge of the Chinese Yangsheng tradition.
Yeah.
And so just one more plug. It's not a personal plug,
Go for
really. The part of Yangsheng, I pay a lot of attention to diet. So I always have. Not tightly though, not strict. I love food. I love cooking international food. Just eat good natural foods. And wherever possible, for the sake of the planet, we eat organic. Not self-centered. The planet needs organic agriculture. It's probably the biggest single thing that can save the global environment. So apart from, pay attention to food and blah, 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 the thing that is my passion is Qigong.
Yeah.
Practicing and teaching Qigong.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this.
My number one passion at the moment. And that's a slightly uphill struggle because I love to teach and I very much want to kind of offer. It's such an important part of my life, saved my life, really.
When did you start?
It's helped. I started about 30 years ago.
Okay.
I feel, especially with my degenerate past that I talked about, and, not innately robust health. I've not been blessed with particularly strong constitutional health. I might have been dead by now without Qigong. It's been a real wonderful part of my life. And it saddens me that it's not got the buzz. For every one person who practices Qigong, 10,000 do yoga. Yeah. Because you can wear fancy yoga clothes and you can go for the burn and Madonna and Gwyneth Paltrow do it, and it's, I could talk at length about it, but yoga is more familiar to the Western body because modern yoga is largely Western.
Yeah.
Most
Totally.
yoga that people do has got its origins in 1920s, 30s, 40s India, and a lot of it was imported from Swedish gymnastics, from various other things. Very little modern asana yoga is modern. Sorry, is traditional. And we get it. We get the stretch, we get, you know, Qigong is more alien, it's more subtle. You have to do it, and do it, and do it, and do it before the flower unfolds. And most people want something immediately, they want the buzz.
Yep.
But it does surprise me, I must say, how few Chinese medicine practitioners practice Qigong, because it's the form of body, mind, breath training that comes from exactly the same roots as the medicine we practice.
I know.
Its language is totally familiar to us.
Yeah. You know, that's why I chose the acupuncture school that I did, Yosan, which I've connected you with, because there's a Qi program as part of the curriculum. So that was my first introduction to Qigong. And we had to take it all throughout school. Yeah. So we might as well, you know, because so we'll just plug that now. So you're going to teach a Qigong course there in October, yeah?
No, I'm teaching a day on my book.
Okay.
On Yang Sheng, but it's going to be a morning Qigong session.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What day is that again? I can't remember. It's like October 20th.
October something.
Yeah, 24th, 5th or 6th, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be there and I'll be there too. So everybody watching, it's going to be in LA at Yosan University. So you can look it up on Yosan's website. I don't know if they have it listed yet. They might. But that's going to be great. So I'm super excited for that day. But yeah, that's the only acupuncture school that I know of that includes Qigong in their program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll admit I did not continue the practice after school.
Well, look, very few. I bless my parents. I do, because I picked up the violin when I was pretty young because my dad played it, and at that time I wanted to do whatever my dad did. He played it really badly, because he took it up as an adult. But you know, an everyday comment, and lots of kids will recognize this, is, have you practiced today? Have you done your practice? You know, we've got a lesson coming up, you've got to practice. So this idea that you get up and you practice something was given to me at an early age, and it stood me in fantastic stead. I've always practiced something.
Yeah.
I did yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong. When I was in the band, I practiced the violin every morning. It's just it's like breathing. So it's so lucky. And unfortunately, many people don't have that. I mean, I naively present my Qigong classes as, here, learn this, go away and practice it. But very few people do. They come to the class, but they don't do the practice. Never mind. I don't know how much time we've got. There's just one other.
Well, we can talk as long as you want. Okay. There's no time limit, really. We can talk till our phone batteries run out.
I can't see the time, so.
Let's see. I'll look. We've been chatting about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a few more minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll check through our comments too and see maybe other questions. If you have time.
Some supper ready for you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Incidentally, I do most of the cooking in this house, but once in a while I get supper cooked.
Well, I hope it's cooked.
You kind of, I think it was you, because I'm doing a few things at the moment, sort of presentations. Said maybe took a question about maybe the future direction of Chinese medicine or something.
Oh, like that. I love talking about that. Yeah, I would love to know your vision for that.
Okay. So briefly, I am an enormous fan of what has incorrectly been called TCM.
Mm.
That means Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I love it is because it practices differentiation of patterns.
Uh-huh.
And differentiation of patterns, the way it's developed in Chinese medicine, I think is probably unique in the world. And one of the smartest, wisest ways of practicing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a step in between looking at symptoms and deciding treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So in Chinese medicine, you have different layers of differentiation of patterns. For example, perhaps the first one learns as an acupuncturist is differentiation of patterns according to the channels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which channels are involved, which channels am I going to treat?
Mm-hmm.
Then you also learn differentiation of patterns according to 8 principles, qi blood, body fluids, zangfu, fevers, and so on. Apart from a kind of anti-TCM trend that there's no time to talk about at the moment, but I have a lot of thoughts about that. I see a trend in acupuncture for of staying at the level of differentiation of patterns according to channels.
Mm.
A lot of very popular forms of acupuncture are playing the channel. Mm-hmm. Dr. Tun method. Mm-hmm. I don't even know them actually, maybe tongue acupuncture a bit. Mm-hmm. It's all about points and channels. And that's great when it comes to technique. And clearly, it's often very effective. Mm-hmm. But I believe our medicine goes much deeper than that. So I believe our medicine, as I said, through differentiation of patterns, we start to understand causes. Mm-hmm. And when we understand causes, we start to understand deeply, or we have a tool to deeply understand this patient in front of us in the context of their disease and their life and who they are.
Yeah.
No, I'm not being mystical.
No. I don't think that's mystical at all. Yeah.
Somebody has a lot of chi stagnation. That tells you a lot about them and their life.
Totally.
Somebody has yin deficiency. That tells you something.
There's nothing mystical about our medicine, I don't think.
So you cannot fully practice the medicine fully, deeply, richly, without really working with differentiation patterns.
Yeah.
And I wonder sometimes whether that, in its fullest sense, is disappearing a bit, because it's not, differentiation patterns is not just to determine treatment. So differentiation of patterns, as I learned when I was in China in 1981, points forwards towards the treatment, but backwards towards the cause. And the backwards bit towards the cause is an equally important thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was my spiel.
I love it.
I've finished.
Well, I love it. Do you have time to take a couple questions?
Yeah, quick.
Oh, and somebody just said they bought your book in the comments.
Oh, good.
That's good. It's a great
and
book.
By the way, if you have my book and if you like it, stick a review on Amazon.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really
I'll
nice.
do that too. I haven't done that yet. Yeah. And so we have your book, we have your class coming up in LA, and then you're also teaching at the PCOM symposium also. Yeah.
Just an afternoon.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where you can connect with Peter. And then let's see. So, I had someone ask me to ask you if you believed in ghost points.
Believe in them.
That's what they asked. Yeah.
Well, ghost points, Sun Samya's 13 ghost points are traditionally, that's a category of points.
Yeah.
Believing them is an open question. Presumably the question is, do they treat ghosts? So I don't believe in ghosts, but they treat, in modern terms, we say they treat certain mental disorders, delusions, maybe schizophrenia, they contribute. That would be my understanding of the modern application of them.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, how do you feel about Mikio Senki and esoteric acupuncture?
I've never heard of it.
Okay, that's fine.
So
It's just another way of treating.
I'm pretty allergic to the word esoteric, I have to say.
Are you? Yeah.
I think, I tend to think that the good stuff is simple.
I totally agree.
There was a doctor called Fable Xiong, 19th century famous Chinese herbalist. Volker Scheid has written about him. He said, if I remember correctly, there's nothing miraculous in the world, only the ordinary. But the perfection of the ordinary is miraculous.
I love it.
I nail my colours to that mast.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
I've used the phrase, don't go down the garden looking for the fairies at the end of the garden. Realize the miracles that are there every step of the way.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Just what's happening is all a miracle.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for the weird miracle.
No.
The growing of plants, the manifestations of the Tao, the 10,000 things, the miracle of the 10,000 things.
Yeah, it's so true. Oh, I love it. Stephen said that you did a lecture at his college once and you cooked some stir-fry vegetables with a little water and lemon. Well,
I remember that. Okay.
Okay, somebody's asking, what's the name of your new book? What's the title?
Live Well, Live Long, Teachings from the Chinese Nourishment of Life Tradition.
Wonderful. They say they'll go buy it.
Right?
Okay, let's
That
see.
makes 7 people who've bought it. No, I'm only joking.
All right, let's see. Someone says, let's talk about Qigong and how it helps trauma. They said, 3 cheers for our practitioners who do community acupuncture and trauma medicine.
Great. Well, that might be a reference to the fact there's been a lot of research, actually mainly from the yoga world, but it applies very much to Qigong, how slow, deep, and from the Qigong point of view, lower abdominal breathing has an incredible cascade of emotional, psychological, and physiological benefits.
Yeah.
Can reset.
Oh yeah, you wrote an article on that actually. I saw your article. Yeah. On the journal again. Yeah. That too, I'm not sure if it is over in the UK, but in the United States, that's something that's kind of becoming a bit of a fad, is breathwork. Yeah.
Well, good. As long as it's sensible and down to earth, and
so far it seems like it, because there's not really too much kookiness you can do with it. Well, but who knows? We'll see. I shouldn't say that.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
All right, let's see. There's just one more question. What's your experience treating depression via TCM?
Sorry, just.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
Quite all right.
Other phone, landline. Okay, well, it's kind of big, slightly controversial question. I think medicine, all medicine, including Chinese medicine, maybe especially Chinese medicine, can offer a lot. Can offer a lot in the treatment of depression, anxiety,
absolutely,
and so on. But it's somebody trying to get in the house. That's why they rang. Can you hear that?
Yeah, you can take care of it if you need to. It's okay. That's just the joys of live.
I'm going to be back in 1 second. Jenny, can you answer the door? Okay, I'm back. you don't understand, this house I'm in is 5 stories high.
Oh my
The
gosh.
door is 5 stories down. So I had to shout. So, yeah, can offer a lot.
Yeah.
However, I think there's a real limit we have to recognize to what any medicine can offer for these disorders. And they need work. You know, they need people to do some kind of work on themselves as part of getting through it. And that work, we know, it's not just us. I mean, exercise, for example. Exercise is as effective as medication for moderate depression.
Totally.
You know.
Yep.
Diet can play an important role, you know, as well as, of course, psychotherapy, the right kind of therapy. So we can play an important part, but I think it's probably naive to think that we can exceed the limits of medicine.
Interesting.
Just because it's Chinese medicine doesn't make it magic. It's still subject to the same fundamental rules of life as any other medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah. So then do you have the mindset of integrating the medicines?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm part of a team at the moment that's been working for a few years on another big textbook, which is treatment of infertility.
Oh, well, love it.
Basically, regulating the period is half the book.
Yep.
The other half is treatment of infertility. But the principal author is Professor Susan Wu, or Yuning Wu, in China, who is probably China's top specialist in integrated Western and Chinese medicine.
Wow.
So yeah, I very much believe in integrated medicine.
Wow.
I also believe up to a point, I believe as ex-Chinese Premier Deng Xiaoping said, it doesn't matter if the cat is black or white as long as it catches the mouse. So,
I love it.
sometimes we need this and sometimes we need that.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I mean, I would like more realism to be part of Chinese medicine education. We suffer from this problem, and I've done it myself. Teachers fall in love with the act of teaching Chinese medicine. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful edifice. We love it so much that we can end up giving the impression that it can do everything.
Yeah.
That's, it's not true. It's simply not true. The Chinese say medicine can only cure curable diseases, and then not always. But it's a burden on young practitioners, because instead of being thrilled by the realistic results they get, they feel undermined by their failure to attain mostly unattainable results they've been led to expect. So the workaday practitioner will help a lot of people to varying degrees, cure a very small number if it's a chronic disease, and that's a wonderful service.
Yeah.
I mean, acupuncture can benefit migraine headache or migraine headache by a factor of about 50%.
So much.
That's as good as or better than any other medicine.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
if you're expecting to cure everybody, you're going to feel like a failure. So realistic expectations, I feel, is really important.
Yeah. I think that's great. And, so of course, so many of my followers struggle with that because they're new practitioners, and they have so much challenge with their confidence, with the patients, and I think that you made such a wise point, that it's not exactly taught to us that way in school. And we get out really not knowing what to expect and have trouble with our cases. And then, that's so discouraging to new practitioners, and it's just this, spiral down of then having trouble with their practice and everything. you know, so I think.
And we don't have a reliable system for mentoring. You know,
Yeah.
a GP who knows way more about medicine. All right, it's Western medicine, but it's still medicine.
Yeah.
GP who knows way more about medicine, having studied for 7 or 8 years. Do you know what a GP is? Do you use that term?
General practitioner. Yeah.
Will still, you know, will have supervision and mentoring and have people they can turn to. We get chucked out really undertrained, very inexperienced. We get thrown in the deep end, and we have to call on our own resources. And sometimes those resources, sometimes we're really challenged, and we feel insecure and inadequate, and maybe give up. It's a tragedy. It's really a tragedy.
Yeah, I know. You know, so I so appreciate you sharing that, you know, with all of your wisdom and experience in Chinese medicine. Sharing that fact is so powerful for everyone to hear, because that is exactly a big challenge right now.
And there's a practice one can do, which is simply, when we encounter what we don't know, what we feel ignorant about, the best response to cultivate is curiosity.
Yes.
I don't know that. How interesting.
Yes.
Let me find out. Let me watch. Let me observe. Instead of which, especially as young practitioners, we encounter something we don't know and then go, mea culpa.
Yeah. And instantly judge
dumb.
ourselves.
I should know this.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm crap.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And then you don't learn. Also.
Exactly. So, exactly. Yeah. This is yes, you're talking my language. You know, this is such a huge thing.
What you're doing is helping.
Thank you. You know, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly teaching the mindset part of it, you know, because it's just our judgment of ourselves that gets in our way of the successful practice. I mean, anybody new in any medicine anywhere struggles with the same things that we do as acupuncturists, but we're so hard on ourselves as a profession.
Isolated.
And what?
And so isolated.
Yes, exactly.
And also, so when I wrote, I'm sure we need to finish. I'm sure people are getting sick of this.
Hey, whatever, we can chat. We still have a big audience on. It's growing. They're fine. People are loving it.
My book,
they're giving us comments.
I learned a lot writing my book. And the area I learned most was the field of the emotions. Yeah. And Chinese medicine says that excess of any of the emotions, they listed 7, but we could expand it into 30. You know, there's lots not there. There's no shame, for example. There's no hatred. There's lots of things. There's no jealousy. Yeah. So excess of any of those emotions is harmful to us. Yeah. And one of the interesting things is if we or another person experience a blatantly obvious emotion like a fit of rage, that's very clear cut. But a lot of us have these emotions eating away at us.
Yes.
So constantly that often we're not even aware of them.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So, for example, you were talking about self-criticism.
Yes.
Or fear.
Yeah.
I mean, not big fear. You know, if you know you're constantly afraid of germs, that's something you can know about. But mild fears, you know, fear of being judged, fear of people laughing, maybe fear of you're not whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you're not wearing the right clothes, or your friends don't really like you. All these kind of things. Now they in the Yang tradition, they eat away at our energy. So the first challenge is to really become aware of it.
Yes.
So this, for example, in this particular subject we're talking about, self-criticism and self-doubt, we become so used to it, we take it for granted. We don't even see it.
Yep.
The first thing is to become aware, and that's where the practice of either meditation or qigong comes in, because by stilling the mind and starting to kind of detach ourselves a little bit from this flow of emotions, you start to be able to see them,
Yeah.
get a bit more distance.
Yeah. I so am with you on that. That meditation, Vipassana meditation, is what started me to be
Okay.
able to finally distance myself and see myself from that. And that is a lot of what I bring into my coaching now, is my ability to see people's blind spots and help them to uncover them, you know, to be aware of what's stopping them and getting in the way of their success. Because, you know, I just made a post the other day that that nothing changes between you being a struggling practitioner to you being a successful practitioner other than your mindset. You know, that is...
Well, and your experience, and your clinical experience, because that's really important. In medicine, clinical experience is one of the biggest factors.
Yes.
And that's where our training lets us down often. We don't get enough clinical experience.
Yeah.
Imagine imagine studying medicine, you get chucked into the A&E department for 6 months, you get chucked into the gynecology department, you get chucked into the pediatrics department.
Yeah.
You get loads of experience before you go out on your own.
Yeah, and that helps your confidence.
Very
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I am so grateful for our Chinese medicine schools, but I do believe that we could use a whole overhaul on them and a more efficient and effective way to train our practitioners now. Hopefully dinner is ready for you.
Yeah, exactly. I think actually what's happened is, I think I mentioned I'm going to a festival tomorrow, so friends come around with the van, I've got to load up, so I'm going to have to,
that's fine.
Reluctantly, because it's been an enjoyable chat.
Totally. Yes.
And as you can probably tell, I could talk for hours. You know, and another thing.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, it would be so fun to do this again sometime. You know, it's been like such a pleasure. We could get on here and chat about anything, you know, and dive into anything that you want to just share more, because you, Peter, have like so much priceless knowledge that really no one else has because of your experience. Well, just because of who you are and your experience and you going to China and you know, learning from Macchiocho. I mean, like I said, you are the pioneer of our profession. Nobody else is you. Yeah.
Well, that's
one
true.
of them.
Nobody else is you. I'm one of the pioneers.
Yes, one of them.
And that was 50% luck and timing. Timing.
I don't think so. It's not luck. I don't believe in luck. You were the chosen one.
Right. You see the... Can you see it? I can see this light, this halo.
I can see it. All right. Well, then, again, you know, get your book. Tell us the title again, please.
Live well, live long. And that live well means be well and live in a good way.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Live well, don't be a dick.
Yeah. Live well, live long. Teachings from the Chinese nourishment of life tradition.
Okay.
And I haven't said hello to whoever's watching. I forgot to say that. So I'll say goodbye. Goodbye now to whoever's watching.
And you know, you can go and check our the comments on the feed afterwards, because it'll post on my page, because there's been a lot of great comments. So later, check those out from people.
Yes, as always, it's been great.
Yes, always great.
We connect.
We do, little Leo sibling. And you know, I just really want to acknowledge you for everything that you have contributed to our profession. I mean, it's priceless. And it is just, it's healing the world. You know, it really, truly is. So thank you for all of that you've done and continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you. And enough already. Yeah?
All right. Go eat dinner and pack your van. All right. Bye, Peter. Thank you so much. Chat soon.
Bye.